Hello and welcome to another episode of the Web3 Talks. My name is Ornella Hernandez and today my special guest is Vas. Thank you for joining us, Vas. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much for having me.
So Vas is the founder of Blockready, a new educational platform to help others learn about blockchain, crypto, and Web3. So we're gonna get into all of that. But first, I wanted to ask just how your new year is going, how 2024 has been for you so far.
Well, on a personal level, I'm happy because we are growing as a company. We are working now on brand awareness on a more like, as far as the industry and the space I'm in, we have great news coming starting 2024 with the ETF approval.
Yes, finally.
That just finally, after 10 years, I think that companies and investment firms have been trying to get that SEC to approve it, finally came yesterday. So
why is that so important? Why were people so, wanting that so much?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's not the first worldwide Bitcoin ETF approved. Canada approved it, I think, 5 years ago, and many other countries, even in the UAE and Brazil. But US, as we know, is the biggest financial market. And of course, whatever they decide and whatever they do is going to be affecting the entire cryptocurrency market.
Right.
So for the first time, we're going to have Bitcoin being traded to these, big stock markets like the FTSE and the Nasdaq. And that means that the whole idea behind cryptocurrency is being legitimized. Right now, we're going to have companies able to buy Bitcoin shares instead of buying directly Bitcoin, which we know that has its own challenges, security-wise, taxation and regulation as far as a company having Bitcoin in its reserves, right? So now everything's going to be easier, and adoption, of course, of Bitcoin hopefully will go up.
Right, that's the hope there. Okay, and what else are you excited about for this coming year?
Well, we have the Bitcoin halving coming every 4 years. That's a really much anticipated event for the entire cryptocurrency and blockchain community. We are hoping that we're going to see, obviously, Bitcoin becoming now of less supply. So the supply is going to be cut in half. So typically with the ETF, which potentially will increase the demand, and with the Bitcoin halving, which will decrease the supply, we will see, hoping, a very nice 2024 ahead of us as far as price and adoption.
Okay, yes, lots to look forward to this year. All right. And tell me then more about Blockready and what exactly it is, what the mission and the vision is behind the company.
Okay, so maybe I'll start with a little bit about why I created Blockready, because I think it's important. So about 8 years ago, I jumped into the space, blockchain and cryptocurrency. I was fascinated by the technology mostly and the philosophy behind the whole idea, right?
Did you get into Bitcoin at first?
I got into Bitcoin, didn't really make that much money, but I started investing, and I was fascinated because blockchain, first of all, as a technology, is able to provide so many different solutions, not just on the financial sector, but every single sector, right? Supply chains and even healthcare, many other sectors. So as a technology, it's revolutionary. And then you have cryptocurrency who comes and provides a new way of dealing with the financial system, right? Instead of having all these intermediaries when we exchange value, now there's a new technology that allows us to exchange value directly without anyone, without any middleman, right? So I was excited. I got into it 8 years ago, and as an early adopter, I started making many mistakes. Right? My learning was very chaotic, I would say. I was trying to learn from doing multiple things, going onto YouTube, watching YouTube videos that I'm not sure if they were like the right source, right? Sometimes videos are out of date. Sometimes there's YouTubers who are trying to, portray a specific opinion because that's what suits them. And obviously some other times the content is just not accurate, right? The person who's doing it has not done enough research.
Yeah.
And then you jump on Twitter and you read about something else, and then you jump on Reddit. So it was really chaotic the way I learned. So
especially
I made many mistakes.
when you're on your own, trying to learn all this and decide what's the right method. It's hard. It's still complicated. 8 years later,
this was my main challenge. So I made many mistakes. obviously, it took me a long time to understand and learn and jumping into from one topic to another. You know, you start typically with blockchain and Bitcoin, then you jump into, okay, what about Ethereum? And then, okay, well, we have all these altcoins, and what about wallets and exchanges? And what's the best way of investing and trading? Oh, okay, now we have NFTs and DeFi and lending platforms. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in for someone who's just starting. And this is the reason why I created Blockready, actually, because I realized that not just me, but many other people have exactly the same problem. They are trying to find knowledge in the huge misinformation and vast amount of information out there. And it's very difficult to actually pinpoint exactly where to go and where to start, by which topic and which structure you'd like to actually learn.
Right. So then what was your solution then to this problem of maybe too much information and everything being too complicated to figure out on your own? What did you think was the best way to solve that?
Well, because I've got a very technical background. I've been at Microsoft for 18 years. My whole career has been in IT for more than 23 years. I decided that this solution had to have a different approach. I didn't want to create a course just like any other course out there. You know? You go to Udemy and you have all these different courses. Some of them are like good enough, but some of them are very old and out of date. And typically they don't really follow a nice structure. So because of my technical mind, I thought, what's the best way of creating a course that really is revolutionary? It's one of a kind. So I came up with this idea of creating a course using technology as a guide.
What type of technology?
So we're using two major technologies. We're using something called SERP, which stands for Search Engine Results Page.
Okay.
And you see that all the time. If you go to Google and you type in anything, any keyword or any question, a bit further down, if you scroll, you'll see people also ask. That's SERP. So basically Google knows that you've put a question or a keyword, so automatically tells you, related to this keyword, there's also other things that people are asking, which is very much could be of interest to you. And how does Google do that? By obviously owning the internet and every single person using Google. So they collect all this information and they know exactly what trends are actually out there, exactly what people are asking worldwide, any problems, challenges, tips, any misconceptions that people have, Google knows about it. So wouldn't it be a great idea to use that information to create a course which literally targets and covers the exact same topics and challenges that everyone is facing around the world.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing. We're doing SERP as the main technology to collect vast amount of information, and then we're using AI to actually take that information in and structure it. So, okay, we have 60, 70 keywords, blockchain, Bitcoin, DeFi, we have NFTs, we have regulation, right? So we collect all these different topics using SERP, and then we feed it into AI, and we say, okay, now tell me how I can structure this content. Which content does overlap with other? Which one is more like for beginners? Which one is more like for intermediaries? And which one is more for advanced? And what about the different topics? What about the modules and the different lessons that we should really categorize this content with? So we've done this kind of streamlined over and over again, and now we have a process where we pick up all the trends, everything that people are asking, we feed it into the AI, and we start like creating a course according to that.
Okay, I understand. So basically you're taking the top most searched questions, right, or topics that people are already searching for, and then using an AI model or an AI tool to fill out the answers.
Yes, and we have AI for many other types of operations we have. I'm not sure if you're very much into course creation, but course creation has multiple stages. You don't start by obviously doing the content creation first. You start with research.
Right.
And then after research, you obviously streamline the content, and you then have the structure, and then you start doing quality control to make sure that your content is free of errors, there's no overlap, even grammatical and spelling mistakes, right? But also you can use AI for things like, okay, what about assessing the person who's taking the course? How are you gonna know that they're actually taking in everything they're learning? So quizzes, final exams, these are all generated with AI as well, because we can feed the content in and then tell AI, okay, give us now the type of questions that really fit that kind of content, so we can do some sort of quiz or exam to cater for the students who would like to assess themselves after taking the course.
Okay, so could we compare it to a Coursera course or a Udemy course? Like, it follows a similar format to most online courses out there, correct?
We'd like to think that we're also very unique in the way that we actually include content. So Coursera, Udemy, some other big platforms, the content is typically roughly the same. You have videos.
Right.
And these videos obviously following some kind of logical order. And typically we may have some exercises or potentially some group exercises as well. We decided to include as many different learning formats as we could possibly think of, that we think it's actually catered for different styles of learning. So,
for example,
we have at least 8 different learning formats. I'll take you through each one of them, but in a very summarized way.
Okay.
First of all, we have the FAQs, frequent asked questions.
Right.
Straight from Google SERP engine, we know everything about who's asking the most frequent questions on each topic. We've got about 600 of these FAQs. And of course, they've all been quality controlled and generated. And of course, with our team curating it, have been all put into different modules inside the course. We have 13 different modules.
So that's more for like a quick search. Like I want to find out more about this, but I have a very limited time. I just want to read about it real quick. I'll go to the
Exactly.
FAQs. Okay.
Imagine you are starting and you're interested in a specific topic. Let's say it's blockchain, or it could be exchanges or wallets. You can go into the module, you can look at the FAQ sections, right, which are actually split into different lessons, and you can automatically read the answers for every single question that people have been asking on the internet without even having to worry about searching online. So we got about 600 of these FAQs. Of course, they're all sort of spread and divided across the 13 different modules.
Yeah.
So that's learning format number 1.
Okay.
Then we have something else called nanotips.
Nanotips.
Nanotips. These are very small, very discrete pieces of best advice or best practice. Do that, don't do that. Don't connect your wallet into some kind of scammy website.
Right.
Always use complex passwords. And make sure that you do some research 1, 2, 3, 4 before you start investing. So we call these small nano tips, and again, they're spread across the 13 modules, and we have about 120 of those. So that's learning format number 2. Number 3, we have something called mega facts.
Mega facts, all right.
Mega facts are meant to be specific news that are long-lasting, and they're meant to literally move the industry forward. Right? They are the main reasons why we think this industry is going to be widely adopted.
So is all this information updated?
Every single week.
In real time? Oh, okay.
Every single week we update. If anything changes in the news or tips or questions are not yet relevant, or perhaps the answer has changed. For example, is there a Bitcoin ETF in the US approved? The answer is obviously yes now.
Okay.
Before it was no. So we'll go every week and we'll start updating it. So that's actually one of our promises to our customers, that our course is always going to be up to date.
Okay.
It's easy for us because of AI.
Right. Can I ask what software you use specifically?
We'll use multiple software. We use Python, we use ChatGPT, we use Grammarly, and we use SERP technologies. There's a platform called Answer the Public. I don't know if you heard of it. We use also something called 11 Labs. 11 Labs allows us to take the text that has been curated and actually transcribe it and convert it into human language and native voices.
Okay. So you do use ChatGPT then as your language model?
We use ChatGPT version 4.
Right.
And then we obviously direct ChatGPT exactly how we would like the content to be generated. Because ChatGPT sometimes can make mistakes. Yeah. And we have our team curating the content and guiding ChatGPT. Here's the content we want you to deliver, but when we don't like where you're going, we're going to correct you and say, no, talk more about this, less about this.
Okay, all right.
And then we curate it, put it on Grammarly, make sure the syntax in the
That's important.
English is perfect. Then we put it on 11 Labs, to actually transcribe it into voice as well.
Okay, now give me just one more example of the formats.
Okay, apart from the nano tips, the FAQs, we have a collection of YouTube videos right now.
Okay,
and we're working on
videos that are already published.
Already published, but obviously curated by us to make sure that they are very relative to each lesson that we are actually have. And of course, we're going to eventually have our own videos on the platform where we have people coming in and experts in a specific field that can talk, and of course myself.
Okay.
One more? You want one more?
I want to ask, what is the top searched question, or what question do you get the most when people are either meeting you or going on to Blockready? What is it that people want to know the most about?
Investment and trading, of course, right? So everyone is asking us, okay, what about investment? Do you have all the FAQs? The answer is yes. We actually have two different modules, an investment module and a trading module, because we think those two are not the same. A trader necessarily has a different sort of knowledge that he needs to learn versus someone who wants to invest in potentially long term.
Who's your target audience here? Is it just for beginners or for people, like you said, you have for investors and traders as well, but is it people who already have some base knowledge, or who are you targeting exactly with your content?
I'm glad you asked this question, because this is really relates to our mission, right? Our mission as a company is to democratize education for blockchain and crypto. And people like us, we are lucky living in a developed country. Perhaps, yes, we can learn, but it's not going to change our life. But people in the developing countries, this knowledge, this education can typically change their life. It was like almost 30 years ago when we had the internet, and if I told you, you know what, learn about the internet, you're going to have a job for life. This is where we are today. Blockchain and crypto is actually a technology that may actually revolutionize the way we exchange value, the way we live our lives, the way we actually, collaborate in a very, revolutionary way. So, if you were to touch those people, the people who are working two jobs, they're living in a developing country, the people who potentially don't have the money to spend on an expensive course, or the people who don't have the time to spend 6 months on YouTube trying to learn. These are the people who we want to target. And as far as personas, we have multiple personas, because we are targeting pretty much everyone who could benefit from this knowledge. Think about a graduate. Think about someone who is unemployed and they're looking to do a career on Web3. We can target those because they're obviously gonna need to understand the space.
Yeah.
Think about someone like an artist who would like to understand how they can monetize their work using NFTs, or the entrepreneur who would like to understand how he can, do something new in Web3. The businessman who wants to understand how he can take advantage of blockchain for his own company, and even the tech enthusiast who wants to understand the space and what's the whole, idea behind the technology.
All kinds of people then, from all different backgrounds, who just want to further their knowledge.
And I would say beginner and intermediary, but also advanced learners, there's content for them as well.
Okay. And what's the best way then to get started? Is it just going on the website? Do they need to contact you, or how does it work?
Yeah, we have a website, blockready.com. You can go there if you want. We only have one course. We don't want to split up the value. You get every single module by just jumping onto the course. We also have a free version. You can get absolutely no obligation to buy. There's no credit card required. You just get on the free course and you can see the value we provide. We actually have 3 modules, full access for 3 modules. We start blockchain, cryptocurrency, general knowledge, and Bitcoin, all for free. And people can start learning just by signing up for that. Okay,
amazing. I'm gonna check that out for sure. And then before we close, just a few more questions I wanted to ask, just personally about your journey in Web3 and your career so far. You said that you worked at Microsoft in IT, and then that led you into the crypto world. So tell me a little bit more about that transition, and maybe what's been the most rewarding part about it and about your career now in Web3 and about educating others. What have you found the most rewarding and the most challenging?
First of all, I don't work for Microsoft anymore. I've left about 2 years ago, and to be honest, all my life I've been an educator. I like this field because I like to transition knowledge to people who need it. So at Microsoft, I was actually educating about technology to our customers. today, I am more following my passion to try to educate people about blockchain and crypto. So nothing much changed as far as my passion. I'm still following my passion, but this time is actually for something I really am very close. Education is number one priority for me. I do love the community in the cryptocurrency space. They're extremely motivated to challenge the status quo, right? In cryptocurrency, you get these people who's like, no, we don't want to accept the status quo of how we deal with financial systems. So that kind of like revolutionary environment I like being part of. And of course, actually, apart from an educator, I'm also a speaker. So I get a lot of energy by signing up as a speaker to multiple events and meeting very interesting people out there. And challenges.
Challenges.
Challenges mostly is having your own company and trying to obviously work on all the things that a company such as a small startup would need.
But that's in any industry.
Yes, in any industry. Especially the cryptocurrency though, it's even more challenging because there is this lack of trust. When they see a company that deals with cryptocurrency, potentially they may think, okay, maybe it's not valid, maybe it's not a legitimate company. Even if we say we don't do anything else, we only do education. Blockready doesn't have its own coin. We don't have...
Right. Are there any plans for that?
No, there's no plans at all. We don't want to go into this kind of... We are literally an education platform.
Okay.
And we want to make sure that people understand the space and protect themselves from mistakes. And we don't really have any plans on creating our own content.
So it's not a Web3 based platform. It just educates on the principles of
Hopefully
Web3.
In the future.
Okay.
Hopefully in the future we'll transition our content into a Web3 platform. But right now it's on a Web2 platform.
Okay, amazing. Well, we are out of time. Thank you so much, Vas, for talking to me today.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
And everyone, go check out Blockready if you want to further your knowledge about Web3, crypto, and all things blockchain. And please make sure to check out other episodes of the Web3 Talks. Until next time, guys.